representatives and them like enacting laws that abolish private property the way we abolish slavery. And social democracy is maintaining private property for profit. Private owners own the factories, private owners own the machines, but through taxation and wealth redistribution, people have social welfare. They have social programs that keep them healthy and happy, and they avoid like even the conversation about private property. You know, like they just keep private property, which is why capitalism still exists under under social democracy.
Social democracy. Okay. So what I describe is more social democracy rather than democratic socialism. So democratic socialism is achieving socialism through the electoral process. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Effectively.
Yeah. I believe in that, but I also think that if revolution happens, then it happens. That makes sense?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of the claim, right? That revolution is ultimately a historical process. It emerges from society. It's not like even if you tried to force it, it wouldn't work. It's natural, right? It's like sort of a natural human behavior ultimately.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is what I would say. Yeah, I think we should achieve socialism through that way as well. And if revolution happens, let's make the revolution happen. I just don't see it happening right now because of the way our society is ran. But if we use like some social democracy like tactics, like expanding the welfare state, et cetera, to get to that point, then we should get to that. Then that's what I believe we should do as well. Does that make sense?
I think I hear that position, and what would I say? I would say like my position on that is that is capitalism. So it sounds more like what you're saying is that in America specifically, we should move to a social democracy. That's what it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah, we should move to a social democracy for now, but we need to get rid of capitalism. Does that make sense, or like that's not?
Yeah, no,
like strong enough?
I personally think that I mean, I think we jive on that. I think the big issue is just I was confused about your language and the use of language in the debate that was going on. So that's all I wanted to come up to just clarify, make sure I knew what you meant, make sure that we both understood the same terms and we had definitions and stuff.
Yeah, I got my. I appreciate you being up here, man. Oh, go ahead and follow me. We definitely could talk about
already did
strategy stuff.
I'll see you later.
Appreciate you. All right, Bite Carl, you there?
Hey, yeah, what's going on? I don't know what happened earlier. I was talking and it just muted me. I guess it glitched.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, when you're on stage, my mod is gonna mute you when someone else is talking because I go one by one. But not a problem. All right, so I appreciate you being up here and being patient. You say you disagree with everything I got on scientific racism, and that
Right.
was a shitty thing for people to
Right.
do. But even like a lot of scientists at that point even disagreed with that and told them that they were saying stupidity. Like Darwin, for
Right.
example, he was
Yeah.
and all or the opportunities afforded to you was built upon your basically was affected by your race, by your religion, by your sexual orientation, and right now your gender identity. So like, how's that great?
Right. We may be differing on what we call great, but many people have been able to succeed where they were trying to go. I acknowledge that racially it has not been fair. Um,
Mhm.
Damn it, there's a phone call coming in. I'll check that with you guys.
Right. That's why I call it not great. Actually, give me a second. Hey, Black Poppy, go ahead and request up because I can't send you a request. So go ahead and was he removed? Yeah, he got removed. Damn. Yeah, he got removed. Oh, he got a phone call. All right. Hey, so Black Poppy, go ahead and come on up. Please request if you can. And I do apologize to my stream on YouTube. I know that the sound was missing, but I figured out what was happening. It added the screen without the sound. I'm not sure why that was, but people on YouTube, if you're on my YouTube, you should be able to hear me now. All right, y'all, go ahead and start liking this up. We're at 8.6K likes, 50 people in here. I know not all 50 of you agree with me, so someone go ahead and request on up, and let's go ahead and get some discussions going. I appreciate everyone who's been up already. It's been a good night, been a great night. So if you disagree with anything I got on the board or would like to talk to me about it, go ahead and request. Go ahead and request. Appreciate that, Jonesy. Thanks for letting me know because I didn't see when he dropped. All right, y'all. So go ahead and keep liking the live and keep sharing it. If you
At the time that it started, obviously everyone deserves a fair experience and the right to get to decide how to live their lives. And other countries did it. The Nazis did it for the Jews. Can I say that? Please, I forget what I can and can't say. Other countries have done reparations, and I would support that. So our level of how great it was. Yeah.
All right, so we agree on the reparations part. So you don't disagree with everything. So we agree on reparations. All right. So why do you think being woke is bad? What is your definition of that? As a matter of fact, if you agree with reparations, then you actually agree that being woke is good. So we agree on two things because that's what being woke is about. Well, part of it. Well, actually, being woke leads you to agreeing with reparations, which you do. So
what's going on with the woke movement in general is that it's tearing down many of the structures socially that used to exist. And while I would agree there could be a reform, it's not helpful to weaken our nation. And if we weaken it too much, we will eventually be speaking Chinese or Russian or whatever they say in Iran.
All right. Well, number one,
some other country would take us over.
Okay. Well, number one, I actually don't care. But the second thing I would say is that's not
years go only conservative, there will be pain either way.
I'm
But
sorry
the overall,
I'm sorry, like if you can kind of streamline, you said that
even if conservatives got to run the country for the next 50 years, every vote went conservative, right? Imagine how you would imagine that would be detrimental, right? Would you imagine that would be detrimental?
if conservative ran the country for 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is detrimental because we've seen it be detrimental, like because what we've seen conservatives want, they want a society that is bad for minorities, whether gender identity, sexual or minority. But like
right, and that would strengthen
right, but leftists don't want that. So we want more.
Right, but what they want weakens our country. What they want would eventually lead us to not owning property. And the UN would eventually take over. And we would be in a one world government very quickly.
That's not true at all. Nope.
Have you read the Communist Manifesto? And have you read what the UN actually puts out in their own words?
Yeah, none of it is about them come taking over America and we don't own property anymore. Because the way that communists they explain private property is not that, you know, your house or you owning a toothbrush. Is basically the private businesses owning all the capital. That's what they define as private property. You can own your house and your toothbrush. They're not saying that when we don't have to get rid of private property, you don't own anything anymore. That's not what it says.
Didn't Klaus Schwab jump out and say by 2030 you will own nothing but be happy?
Who?
Klaus Schwab in Davos, World Economic Forum.
I don't know who. Klaus Schwab.
Klaus Schwab? He's the leader of the woke movement. He's He's the one
But-
perpetuating all of this.
But there is no
For a
woke
lot of it.
movement. But there is no woke movement. Where do you think woke came
It's
from?
in every country. Look at Canada. Canada
no,
is almost
hold on,
entirely
listen.
woke.
Listen to my question. Where did woke come from? Who created that term?
Well, the UN funds it. I don't know who came up with it. Probably
Wait,
conservatives
the
came
UN
up with it.
The UN funds it. Who? When did I get money from the UN? You realize that woke came from
You
black
didn't,
people, right?
but- huh?
You realize that woke came from black people, right?
No,
That
I didn't
term?
know that.
Yeah, that's why this is such a problem, because the black people came up with that term in order to tell each other to be aware of social injustice. Conservatives then heard it from white liberal
that's
college
beautiful.
students. Hold on, let me explain this. Conservatives then heard this from white liberal college students, thought that it was about blue-haired men getting pregnant, and they ran with it. It has nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I'm learning. I've been wrong before, and I can admit it.
Right. So like there is no like woke movement. That's just a conservative propaganda.
Well,
Stay
if you
woke
saw
is
my TikToks, you would see a bunch of blue-haired ladies talking about all kinds of wildness. There was a guy that said, "I'm gonna switch genders and then be the first one to have an abortion," and he was just thrilled about it. Like that was a great idea, and so that terrifies people like me. So
Yeah, but
and that might have been some propaganda. But
yeah, it probably is. But like the thing is, I'm saying that even if that person was being real, that has nothing to do with being woke. Being woke is just something that black people came up with to be aware of social and racial injustice. That's it. Like
Well, I
conservatives
support
just
that.
made it up.
that's magnificent. Okay,
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
going to
woke
take
is.
that and say it in other lives and hope I don't get cussed out.
Exactly. That's why I said being woke is good.
If that's the definition of woke, then you and I now agree.
Great.
So,
All right. So what's next?
reparations for Black Americans. I missed that in the when I read them all.
Mhm.
So I apparently missed. I read most of them.
All right. So yeah, you agree with that. So what's the next thing?
Yeah. Well, the reason that I agree with it is because we've made the European, the people that brought African Americans, Black Americans over, completely ruined their ability to have a nation or a history, and violated humanity. And that's the difference. That's why we owe reparations, and that's why we should owe reparations to Native American, indigenous.
We should.
And I agree with that. That's part of being human.
Yep.
We screwed up. We're sorry. Here you go. We can send billions to the Ukraines and all this terrible stuff, sending our money out to other places while our people suffer, and we can't apologize for our misdeeds. That's ridiculous. So
Yep.
yeah, I agree with that.
Cool. All right. Based. Why should I believe in God?
Well, so are you not aware that you have a spirit that already knows God?
Can you prove my spirit?
Prove how? Like with physical things? Like with a machine that I hook you up to?
Well, any type of evidence that you have that spirits exist would be fine.
Right. So, but evidence in your mind would be physical?
Yeah, something that's verifiable and replicatable.
No. And the reason is, if you were stuck in a dream, you wouldn't be able to prove who you are until you wake up. Nothing in the dream world would ever point to who you actually are. And no matter how much you study the dream world, you won't get anywhere that's actual truth. And so that's my point. So spirit is higher than this world. It actually wouldn't, even if you could prove spirit in this world, it would be pointing you in the wrong direction.
Okay,
and you
so
would
you're
now
saying
believe more in this world than you should be.
Gotcha. So you're saying that dreams prove spirits? How come dreams don't
I'm
just
giving
prove
you an
like
analogy.
Okay, cool.
Analogy.
All right. So you're saying that we can't prove spirits because we can't prove spirits.
You'll never be able to prove spirit with physical evidence.
So why should I believe it?
Because it's more real than this world. Because
if it's more real than this
who
world,
you really are.
Right. So then you should be able to prove it.
Okay, so do you not fall into any spiritual anything? You don't meditate. You don't believe in chakras. You don't believe in energy healing. Nothing.
Well,
It's
yeah, I mean,
completely cut and dry.
well, energy exists, but energy is just a property of a system. It's not some ethereal thing that exists outside of us. But as
But
far
that would
as
take you to your
meditation,
spirit.
but as far as meditation and stuff like that, sure, I can meditate. Spirituality does not have to be something ethereal or paranormal.
But through meditation, you would access your spirit. I've done things in meditation that were amazing and greatly impacted my life, and I know that I accessed my spirit. And it's
So then you should
beautiful.
be able to prove spirits.
I have for myself.
All right, cool.
I'm certain of it.
All right, cool. Can you give me something that's replicatable or anything that's verifiable?
I could teach you how to meditate the way I have and show you what I've seen.
I've meditated plenty of times before, and I've connected with myself and felt that I was one with nature and all that good stuff. That doesn't prove that there's a paranormal world out there.
But it does prove that we're all connected.
No, not really. I have no idea who you are.
But it doesn't
I mean,
matter. The spirit.
you're
in you
a human. I mean,
acknowledges
you're-
the spirit in you and me.
I mean, you're
The spirit in
human,
me.
right? I mean, you're a human being. I don't want any harm to come to you or anything like that. I think that you should be safe, but like that doesn't prove any type of connection. All that proves is that we're humans and we have empathy.
According to your worldview, that would be true.
No, that's just obviously blatantly true. Humans are born with empathy.
It's obviously blatantly true based on your worldview.
No, it's
It
not
sounds
based
like
on my
your worldview
worldview.
is-
You are literally born with empathy.
Right, but in your worldview, there's no spirit, so I don't have a way to talk to you in that regard. But I would just tell you I disagree with the notion.
I mean, you're talking to me right now, bro.
I'm talking about like I don't have. It's like trying to explain what being black is to me. Like I can't explain to you what being black is.
Right. I mean, sure. I mean, I don't think that I can't transfer the experience that I feel being black onto a white person. Yeah, sure.
Right.
I completely agree with that. But when it comes to actual spirits, if you're saying that it's just an experience, then that doesn't really show anything supernatural or why I should even
It's
believe.
more than an experience. It's who you really are. So
Right. How do we know that's
only
true, though?
real part of you is your spirit.
Right. But how do you actually show that that's true?
Have you heard of Plato's allegory of the cave?
Yeah, but that does. I've heard of Plato's allegory of the cave. I heard forms of it. I've heard all of it. But what I'm saying is that this like allegory and everything like that, it doesn't show that spirits are true. What I'm trying to get reach to the point of like, why should we actually believe this is true?
Without acknowledging spirit, you won't understand it, and so you'll just be in your worldview.
Okay, so I gotta believe it before I actually.
I can't help you through that.
Gotcha. So I gotta believe it for me to understand it. Do you understand why this is why I say this, right? Faith is unreliable for truth.
If you're looking for material evidence, right?
No. Faith is just completely unreliable.
Now, truth we can acknowledge through logic, and we can dig through that with logic if you want, without independent evidence or empirical evidence.
Say what now?
So with logic, I can show you that. With logic, I can show you that spirit is greater than the physical world.
You can show me that with logic. Okay. Go ahead.
Correct. Okay, so fair warning, this is going to sound insane to you.
Okay, then you can't show it with
Okay,
logic. If it's
already
gonna
know
sound
that.
insane, then you can't show it with logic, bro.
No, I can. It's just that we're coming from different viewpoints.
Okay.
So in the allegory of the cave, he's talking about people that were chained in a cave and could only look straight ahead, and they were looking at shadows, right? One guy realized he was not chained, got up, turned around, walked outside the cave, realized what was casting the shadows, and went out and found out all this new stuff, came back, tried to tell them.
Got
They
you.
said,
Pause for me
"Hey,
real
you're
quick.
crazy."
Got you. Pause for me real quick. I know the allegory of the cave already. Just
Okay.
get to the what you were trying to say. Get to the point. Hey Quan,
So
what's
the
up?
point
Appreciate you,
is,
Quan. Go ahead.
If you're trying to get me to prove using the shadows in the cave what's going on behind it, I'll never be able to. And until you can acknowledge that there's shadows and there's things that are casting the shadows, you and I can't be speaking in the same world. And that's why it would seem insane to you what I'm going to say next.
But you know what?
Not that logic.
Right. But you know why that allegory doesn't work is because when that person leaves the cave, he can grab something from outside and bring it inside. And when those people inside realize that this is something that they've never seen in the cave before, then they will be more likely to follow him, which is what I'm asking for. Can you grab something from outside and bring it in? If you can't do that and you acknowledge that you can't do that, then there's no reason to believe you.
So yeah, no, I cannot do that.
Right. So there's no reason to believe that.
No reason for you to believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, sure. You can.
I can't understand life without spirituality. So it's so atheism sounds exactly how insane I'm sounding. That's how insane atheism sounds to me.
Right. I understand that, but like you just admitted that my position is reasonable because like in the allegory of the cave again, that man can go outside and grab something from outside and show it to the people inside the cave. You admit that you can't do that. So you've given me no reason to actually believe it, which is reasonable.
No, and I can also admit that's a great point, and I will think on that. And at any point, if I ever feel like I might be wrong or somebody has a good idea, I have no problem saying, hey, that's a good idea. And, relaxing on my stance. So that's a great point.
All right, man. You got anything else? We are just out of time. You got anything else?
Well, what I would say would take a while, so we can stop there. Maybe I can say something quick on the rest of it.
Yeah, I don't think we have any other. I don't think we have any other guests. So whatever else you have to say, you can go ahead.
Books are not evidence. We've already covered that. It can't be evidence if you're not acknowledging spirit.
But here's the thing about whole
capitalism.
But the thing about holy books is that again, like if you do you ascribe to any holy book at all?
I follow A Course in Miracles, but that leads me to being a better Christian. So I would loosely follow the Bible by about 20%.
But loosely follow the Bible about
the Christian Bible,
like,
the Holy
Christian
Bible.
Got you. What about like the Taoist scrolls or the Bhagavad Gita or the Quran?
I love the Bhagavad Gita, and I greatly vibe with the ancient Vedic texts. Oh God, what are they called? The Upanishads. So that stuff is awesome. Bhagavad Gita is good. The Quran, I have nothing is leading me towards reading the Quran. I probably will at some point. I just haven't. It's a lot. It's like the Book of Mormon to me. I don't want to offend anyone. It's on my list after like the 50th book. So at some point I will read the Quran.
No, of course it's hard to read. I understand it's hard to read, but the what I would say is that like, I mean, basically the same thing. Like, why should we believe any of that stuff?
Well, so some of it is going to resonate with your spirit, which you're discounting, and so is everything true in every spiritual book? No. And was the Bible written by men that were fallible? Yes. Are there terrible things inside the Christian Bible that are stupid and shouldn't be there? Yes. So I would agree that that's the case, but I wouldn't say, hey, let's erase the Christian Bible from the planet and make sure no one can ever access it and glean any spiritual data from it, and we'll all be better off for that. That would be an illogical thing to do.
And I would agree with that. I don't think we should delete the entire Bible because it is valuable, and there actually are some good stuff in there. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna doubt that. You feel me? So like, and I do understand that some of it actually gives us some historical references for stuff like we never would have knew the city of Moab actually existed if it wasn't for the Bible, because that was the only place that it was stated. So, and we actually found Moab through analyzing the Bible. So I'm not gonna say that it has. Yeah, I'm not going to say that it has absolutely no utility, but as a moral guide in the way, and as a moral and social guide to the way people should live their lives, it's pretty useless.
Well, so there's a quote in the Bible in Psalms, acknowledge the Almighty God in all your ways so that He will direct your path, and that is the main thing that I live by. Right? Like my core values are honor everyone's emotions, including my own, God first, and seek truth. That's what makes me up, right? And so that's how I operate. Without that part of the Bible, my entire life would be greatly less meaningful to me. And I would probably be more of a prick and be okay with causing people more stress with my conversations.
So you would cause harm to people if you didn't read the Bible?
I check in with God daily, which makes me a nicer person and a more loving person.
I mean, I don't have to do that, and I think I'm a loving and kind person.
Yeah, and I support that. And I frequently say I will take an open-minded atheist over a closed-minded Christian any day. So I'm not against the worldview specifically, but I would say that being an atheist is literally insane. It's an insane way of living.
I mean, the thing is about being an atheist is that all it is that you're claiming that there's a powerful, all-knowing creature that probably exists outside of space and time that created the universe. And all I'm saying is that, I don't believe that because you didn't give me a reason to believe that. How is that insane?
Without acknowledging your spirit in life, you live a life that I would imagine is greatly fruitless. And you miss out on a level of maturity that you'll never understand.
I don't, and it's not. I think I live a very fruitful life.
Yeah, and I hope you do. And I'm not saying that I don't think you will. Well, maybe I am. I am saying I don't think you will. I'm saying atheists in general, I don't think they are. I want to point it directly at you.
You don't think that atheists in general live fruitful lives and have maturity?
If you're not growing towards God, then you're growing in some other direction that's useless. All growth should go towards God.
Why?
Because there's a part in the Bible that says, this is not my home. My home is
Why should we
heaven.
care what the Bible says?
Right. I'm telling you. Well, if you don't honor spirit, then you shouldn't. You don't care, and that's your choice. But
I mean, are you seeing how this is becoming a circle?
On the planet.
Right. But are you seeing how this is becoming a circle and how this is very condescending? Like you're saying that if people don't believe this God character, therefore they're immature and live fruitless lives. That's like very demeaning. You don't think so?
So even if you discount God but you honor your spirit, that would be one thing. But it sounds like what you're saying is I disagree with God existing and having a spirit.
Right. I have no evidence that of either of those things being the case. So why would I believe them?
Yeah, in the physical world. But you have an experience other than just the physical world. I would say that it's not helping. It's not helping us consciously evolve off of this rock.
What do you mean? Like we can go to space?
So this is not our home. We are not supposed to be here.
Are we supposed to be on Mars?
Terrible place of suffering.
Okay, so we're supposed to be
in heaven.
Okay, can you show me that heaven actually exists, or where is heaven? Is it like in another universe, or?
Yeah, after I show you where your spirit is, I can show you where heaven is.
Oh, cool. All right. So how can I find my spirit? He's gonna tell me where to find the spirit, guys. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and write this down.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Where can I find the spirit?
Come sit together and meditate.
So, I'll have to
show you how to access your spirit.
Cool. So when I meditate, I can access another universe. That'll be amazing. All right, guys. He's gonna show us all how to access another universe. All right. So what do we do? What's step one?
So heaven is the only real world. What we're in, I would say,
heaven
is a simulation.
The only real world.
Yeah. So through meditation, you can learn how to actually wake up.
Through meditation, we can wake up. Cool.
Correct.
All right.
Just
So
like in the allegory of the cave, where he stands up and turns around, that's an analogy for actually waking up and
all right.
accessing your spirit.
Do I need to take any shrooms or edibles for me to go ahead and access
I don't
this
know.
some other
I've
universe?
never done those. I've never tried it. I don't know. That might help you, but most drugs are only shortcuts for what you can do with meditation.
Gotcha. Okay, so to meditate, so for me to access the other universe, which is heaven, let's just go ahead and call this the oververse. All right, this is the universe, and heaven is the oververse, and hell is the underverse. All right, so we're gonna take a
There's no
trip to
hell.
the right. Okay, so there's no hell, so there's no underverse. All right, so there's an oververse and there's a universe. All right, so
I
first to
would
get to
say
the
this is hellish
oververse.
enough to be. We don't
Okay,
need
so-
anything worse than here.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so y'all, so this is the underverse. So there's the underverse and there's the universe, and then there's the oververse. Is heaven the oververse or the universe?
Heaven is the only real world.
Okay,
if we
so
are
heaven
not
is
in
the
heaven.
okay, so heaven is the
then-
oververse, guys. All right, so heaven is the oververse. We're in the underverse, so we're gonna go ahead and meditate, and that will bring us to the universe, and from there we can unlock the door to the oververse. Is that what's gonna happen?
You're making fun. But what's going on is we're not going to, and I was saying this to begin with, we're not going to understand each other if you're discounting spirit. The Bahamas.
Right. If I were to tell you that, hey, for you to access this $10 million in the Bahamas, you just have to meditate, and then you can teleport there, and you'll see it. You're not gonna just believe that. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna just believe that.
But seriously believe you have spirit, then everything I'm saying is insane. And this live aren't going to hear it, and that's fine. I can see the comments.
Mhm.
But that
Yeah,
doesn't
but you
mean
realize
what I'm
the-
saying is wrong.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean what you're saying was wrong. Well, it does mean what you're saying is number one, unreasonable, and two, doesn't have any evidence. So why should anyone
When you
believe
say
it?
evidence, you're talking about empirical things you can touch, see, look at, feel, right?
Right, all evidence should be empirical. If it's not if it's
But
not
it
empirical,
isn't.
then it's
Then-
okay. Can
Then that is
what evidence is not
insanity.
empirical? What
that's
evidence is not
saying
empirical? Like
only the
math?
matrix is real and we aren't actually in a battery.
We're not.
That's what they're saying. You're saying everything in the matrix is 100% real, and
we don't live in a
aren't
matrix.
projecting into something else.
We don't live in a matrix.
Well, that's where we're disagreeing.
Okay, you believe that we're batteries hooked up to something?
I'm saying I know you understand a metaphor.
I
Please
got you.
tell me you
All right, no,
understand.
no,
a
I'm
metaphor.
understand the metaphor. So I understand you that not all evidence is going to be empirical. It's going to be like mathematical evidence.
What I'm
Is
saying
there-
is,
is
if
there
you
like that?
overlay
Is
the
there like
matrix over to our world, if you go into the matrix and start looking for reality, nothing inside the matrix is going to point you to something more real than what you're experiencing. So you're aware of things, you're conscious, you're seeing things in front of you, but that does not mean they're real.
Okay, understood. So you're saying that what we're seeing right now is not real.
Correct.
Okay,
And
cool.
I realize you're
if
experiencing
I
that
were
as insane.
to if I were to grab my weapon out my room and
Mhm.
fire it into someone, is that person going to unalive?
Their body would be greatly impaired and they will not be experiencing consciousness in that body.
Right.
Correct.
And will
But
I then go to jail?
But life is the
Right.
same
Hold
as
on, my question is, will I then go to jail if I do that to that person?
alive. People who
Right.
acknowledge spirit
All right, hold on,
believe that they were
Carl,
somewhere
listen,
before this world.
Carl, listen to my question, please. All right, just follow my question.
Mhm.
You said if I grab the
Mhm.
weapon out my room and I fire it into
Right.
someone, that person will unalive, and that person's family will have a funeral for that person and bury them,
Mhm.
and I will go to jail. Are you saying that none of that actually
Correct.
happened? It's just in my mind. It doesn't happen actually.
I would say it happened in a mind, but not necessarily specifically just yours.
What does that mean?
So, what I would argue is collective solipsism, not individual solipsism, like one person is manifesting everything they see, but the Christ consciousness.
All right, appreciate you being up here. Like we're not getting anywhere. All right, appreciate you being up here, y'all. All right, so y'all. So we are basically out of guests and out of time. I do appreciate you all being up here. Jersey man, did you want to come up? Yeah, I was very confused. Very confused. All right, Jersey man, I can't bring you up because you don't have enough followers of it's TikTok rules apparently. They require you to have a certain number of followers before I can bring you up. But I do appreciate everybody who's been here for tonight. Remember to follow me on YouTube, y'all. I do want to apologize to my YouTube stream. I do know what happened now, why it wasn't recording the sound. So I realized what happened and I realized it too late. But I appreciate everybody on my YouTube live for watching. I appreciate everybody here on my TikTok live for watching. Shout out to my mod Jonesy. Jonesy, I gotta start telling you when I'm going live because you weren't here until like 45 minutes to an hour later. So I gotta go ahead and let you know when I'm live. All right. So Jonesy, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know when I'm live next time when I'm going up, so we can go ahead and do. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. What I'm gonna do on Saturday is that I don't know if you guys know about Fanbase. But Fanbase is an actual another app, but it's a social audio app where you could do like, I'm not sure you guys heard of Clubhouse, but you know Twitter has Spaces. Fanbase is basically an app that does that. So what I want to do is that I want to be streaming both on here and on Fanbase. So I want to like do a whole like testing, probably like if not tonight then tomorrow. Jonesy, when you hear, what I want to do is I want to have you on stage to see if you can hear people on Fanbase, and I want to see if people on Fanbase can hear you. If that works, where you can hear Fanbase and Fanbase can hear you, then we will actually be able to run these lives both here and on Fanbase, which would be amazing, which would be awesome. So yeah, we're gonna do that tomorrow. And next week is gonna be more of a politics week. I'm gonna have all politics discussions. Because we have a lot to talk about when it comes to politics. We have a lot to talk about. But I do appreciate you all being here. Once again, to my YouTube watchers, I apologize that my sound wasn't working tonight, but I was able to get it all the way at the end. And yeah, Jonesy, I'm on Eastern Standard Time. I'm on Eastern. I try to go live at least around 8 o'clock. Probably, I try to do it every other day. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move my schedule to about Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I appreciate that, Steve. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Angela. I appreciate you all being here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and on Saturdays. Well, not tomorrow, Jonesy. I'm gonna start doing that next week. Next week, I'm gonna start doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. This weekend, that's when we're gonna test out trying to hear each other on Fanbase and TikTok. All right. But starting next week, I'm gonna start doing my schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday, around 8 p.m. Jonesy is my main mod. Dr. Joe, if you're still out there, I'm gonna make you a mod as well. Well, I already made you a mod, Dr. Joe, so I'm gonna make you a mod, Dr. Joe. And Jonesy is my main mod. And if you want to join the mod team, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll go ahead and start talking about that. But I do appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I've been on for 2 hours. I told my wife I'll only be on for an hour and a half, and I went 30 minutes over that. But I appreciate you all being here. We went ahead and got all those likes and everything like that. Hey, Deconstruction Zone is in the house. Hey, y'all, follow Justin, Deconstruction Zone. I said Dustin. Justin, Deconstruction Zone. Go ahead and follow him. Amazing creator.